Hey, guess what, everyone? We're here with Johnny. Johnny plays in Greyhaven. They have a new album coming out. Keep It Quiet. It's out 10/10 on Solid State. You guys should check it out. This is full length number three EP number, right? You had one EP, is that right?
Yeah, we have an old record. We still love it's like an old baby to us, but it was just me and our vocalist on. So I like to almost consider it record number three, but if you connect that to us, it's four. So
Cool.
we're
What
there.
what's that album?
Colt America, um, super old one. We did it with Little Heart Records. Back unfortunately, our friend Puckett, who ran it, has passed. But it was a local label that a lot of us all got started on. So
Yeah,
definitely
Knock
don't want to
Loose
forget the roots
was like
there.
one of the ones there too.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to forget our roots there, but member changes, time passed. It's one of those that's like, yes, that was us, but also not. So record three, record four, you can call it what you want.
Yeah, whatever. You guys are still going and kicking
We're still going.
ass. Yes. So, you know, I'm a like I was telling you earlier, I love like live shows, and I know you guys went on the road with Better Lovers, who are fucking fantastic live.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that tour like for you guys?
It's funny, we're actually about to do tour number three with them. Um, so excited for that. Obviously, the super group that they are. We're fans of both their previous bands, fans of both their lovers. Luckily to call Will Putney, their guitarist, a close friend. He's produced basically all of our albums. So it's both fun in that aspect, all inspiring as the fan aspect. Uh, but man, to watch them live every night, it's one of the few bands I think we've ever toured with where there's always a true surprise. Like when you're on the road for 30 days, you end up kind of doing your own thing after so many nights. You don't watch every single set. So sometimes it's whether, you're just walking in the back of the venue during their set and you just turn your head, you're like, what was that? Or you're in the green room and you're like, did you all just hear what just happened? Like, they're one of the few bands I feel like constantly has everyone turning their heads of like, man, they're surprising us constantly live. It makes me want to keep going out and watching their set. So apart from being rad dudes, they're just like incredibly tight. And you just have an aspect to them that we respect and that we try to do ourselves and keep true is like the heart of rock and roll. It's guitars plugged into amps. You know what I mean? It's not, there's no computers side stage. There's no backtracks and things running the set. That's those guys on stage. And so, that's how we do our set. And so it's fun to be out with other bands when you're like, hell yeah, if we mess up, we messed up. Like the
Yeah.
crowd can tell we're not here to fake it.
Yeah. And
So
of course, that whole band, everyone has their own like life outside of Better Lovers, but they come together and like just I feel like you nailed it. They bring it and every show is different, you know?
yeah, which is great. Sometimes people go to multiple shows on a tour and past that, you end up seeing a band multiple times throughout the years. And it's cool if you can be like, dude, he did something totally different this time. Uh, you don't get that with every band. Sometimes it's becoming, unfortunately, I think to all of us, how we feel it, it's becoming robotic for a lot of bands.
Oh yeah.
To me, sometimes I'm like, well, if I want to sound like that, I'll just put on the record. I want to see a band live. It's not that I'm looking for them to mess up, but it's like human when you see that they do. You
Well,
know,
you want to see that's exactly it. You want to see that they're human, that they have different mannerisms, on the stage from one night to the next. Like if they come out and they do, the same thing every night, it's like, okay, cool, but let's do something, different. So, I guess the big question here for for you guys as a band, as performers, is that what you take away from touring with Better Lovers is like the live show that they put on?
Yeah, and I'll throw it even back to the first band that ever really gave us a big shot and took us out was Norma Jean, and they have a very similar vibe about them. And I think that's what we love about touring with those bands is that rock and roll aesthetic. Like I think something we all took from the beginning and still take from now, and attempt to blend in the way of being a part of that group of bands is like, no, we're all real. We're rock and roll because
Yeah.
with no shade towards any other band we've toured with, but we've quickly learned we don't see that as often on the road, and so it's um, great to be kind of side by side with other bands, especially ones that to their level of musicianship. We're like, oh yeah, like this is you guys, this is rock and roll. That's what we're here for. That's what we thought this was when we got into it. It's nice to know that it's true amongst some of them at least.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you're right. I feel like the live music world has really changed. The 80s was drugs galore, this like rock and roll lifestyle. How much can we drink? How much poison can we put in our bodies? And we've gotten away from that, thank God. Not as much like crazy shit's happening,
For
but
sure.
you can still be rock and roll without being tore up the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let here's the big question. This is the one that I have to ask. I
Okay.
know every song on this album is a baby of some sort, right? What song sticks out to you as like your favorite on the album?
I mean, so I feel like I'm a standalone on this one, which is good. I think we want every member and any fan to feel different. The song "Night in October" on the record for me um, felt like a different direction. While I think what the standout songs to a lot of people, the different direction songs are more obvious. Where "Night in October" felt um, like a bit of a different thing that we never done that I was excited about. It felt like, a lot of bands I liked that felt like in the style of, we've kind of tackled that kind of song finally. Um, and it's just one of the ones where the chorus, the bridge, breakdowny parts, whatever you may see in it, they just all clicked for me. There was just that song, like, man, from beginning to end, I was like, I just am so happy that we made this one. But the intro track to the record, I think collectively feels like our whole like we're not giving it away. We don't want anyone to know what's going on there. I don't think it's like the craziest thing in the world, but I don't think anyone sees it coming. And so I think all four of us would say like that's the one. That's the like thing we're all most excited about.
I'll tell you, listening to your discography, I like that this one starts out different than all the rest. Like Prelude starts out so chill and a minute and a half or minute 34 or whatever it is, and it just like punches you in the face. You're like, okay, holy shit. Like I am ready for this fucking ride, I think.
Yeah, and that's exactly that. That's awesome. That's what you got from it. I think that's what we kind of wanted to give is like we're here, we're still that, but like we're not here to make the same album again. That gets boring. That gets boring to us. Like we don't want to do that. Um, so it was fun to do something so different. While I think that the life of most of that song exists throughout the record and is sprinkled in here and there, like it doesn't feel so separated, But then there is the moment where you go, well, it's still us. We're still gonna do like our thing, but like I'm hoping that you can start this record and be like, okay, they're pushing it. They're gonna change some things and be the same band, but say like, how can we like enter crevices that we haven't tried out before? And I think was a really fun way to start the album. And yeah, we're all just ecstatic about it. So We just shot a music video for it all weekend. That will come out with the album. So it's kind of our like hidden secrets is, not letting anyone know this is how it's going to go. So
Well, I'll wait to release this episode until after the album. So
that's up to you. If anything, they'll see it and they're like, oh, what are they talking about? So no worries
but
there.
yeah, I've got a shit ton of interviews. I've got a cut. Well, this will be like three to edit, but this way. But I'm doing. I think I've got like 30 interviews at Louder Than Life this weekend, so
Oh, cool.
it'll be crazy, crazy, man. So
Yeah.
one thing I like about this is I feel like you listening through it and looking back at the discography, I think on every album, you guys as musicians have grown and challenged yourselves. Not not crazy like Deftones, where this album is like gonna really turn off some fucking fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I think you guys have done it like really tastefully with each album, challenged yourselves, and it as a listener, I think it really keeps the listeners keeps me like interested. Like, what are they going to do on this album? I want to know. Like, when you guys sit down to write, is that a conscious decision that you all make? Like, okay, let's try this crazy thing that this other band has done, or does it just come out like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm like probably the most annoying about it in terms of like wanting to push. Why don't we get a piano in here? Why don't we get like, a saxophone, a violin? Like, I just want to like, because we're a four piece. It's just, it's one guitar, it's one bass, it's one vocal. We don't have anyone kind of doing backups in any way. So it's daunting to bring in anything else because it is, kind of like limited. And I feel like I annoy everyone all the time on like trying to bring in everything else. Um, and I'm happy we've gotten to do a bit of it, but yeah, we've all definitely have the conscience like, again, I don't want to make the same record again. That would bore us, because in the end we're making music for ourselves and we hope
Yeah.
people like it. Um,
Yeah,
and
there
so
can only be one AC/DC, right? Like,
yeah. Um, so yeah, I think like we even notice when we start to write a similar song and we kind of almost catch each other on it. We're like, oh, well, that kind of reminds me of this, or like we've done that before. We've gone from like this type of riff to this type of riff like that before. I don't want to do that again. I don't. I hope that people can't be like can bunch like these 15 songs together. Like, dude, they're all basically the same. We
right.
don't want that, and so there's a fun challenge and always trying to make a new thing for us, which is hard because there's so much music out there. You can't be that original, and I'm not, here to say like we are so original. No one's made songs like this, but we're attempting to not make the same song of ours a second time if we can. So it is a very conscious decision to kind of push the limits wherever we can with it.
That's got to be it's got to be a really hard thing, especially, you how much music is out there that doesn't sound like something else. You find when bands do that, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do something that doesn't sound like anything ever." It, I feel like it turns more people off than it does turn them on.
Yeah, there's a fine line because trying to do something that has truly never been done before can easily be like, well, there's a reason that doesn't sound good, or like, sometimes there's novelty. Like, wow, that's so wild. I don't want to hear it again. Or there's a time and place I'll show my friends, but like, I'm not looking to like listen to that. And so I think there's a fine line there. And we still hope and want people to enjoy the songs. We're not trying to write something that's so off-puttingly out there, but again, still trying to at least push our limits. Maybe not push the limits of what music has to offer, but push our limits a bit.
Yeah. Well, you've got to. I think as a musician, if you're not gonna challenge yourself to really, just realized I talk a lot with my hands. I guess I never realized that before. But if you're not really like challenging yourself, like where's the is it still fun? Is it still like keep you interested enough to write more music, or do you hit a wall and go, yeah, okay, like I'm done.
Yeah, like we want to leave the studio and all of us like, you know, be just ecstatic, be all, talking about all the songs and because things also change from beginning of writing to when they're recorded. And so it's a fun process. And we all want to walk away being like, man, I am so excited and to feel like it's your best material and to feel like this is your favorite thing you've ever written. I would hate to feel like, man, this album's okay. I think we all like this is our best. That should be how it feels.
Yeah, I agree. If you don't feel like, oh, this most recent thing is the best, it raises the question, did you really give it your all, or are you just kind of phoning it in to put something out? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Unfortunately, I think there are a lot of bands out there who do that. They're like, oh, we just put something out to put something out, but I guess part of that you can attribute to having a timeline from some labels. Hey, we need a new album by this date, uh, or maybe they're burnt out and just don't really want to do something crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure there's factors for everyone. Um, Luckily for us, our label's great, and we're not at the top of the world, so there's a lot of like heart and want and all this. I think, you get those bands that have their first record, sold 10 million copies. They're the biggest band. And, you know, you have that sophomore slump. And then, past that, I can see how you're like, well, we're millionaires. Who cares? Just go, make a record. Yeah, I'm sure that plays a case. Maybe not all the time, but I think when you don't have that, there's a lot more passion in it, at least. So
Yeah, that I think that's why a lot of us tend to lean more towards like the underground bands because you get down here. What do you have? You have people who are really like, I guess at the end of the day, they would be like the blue collar folks of the music world, like going out there grinding, doing it, partially, I guess it's the career, but the other side of it is I think there's a driving fire beneath that you just can't, uh, you can't shake.
yeah,
We're going to go do this and go play 100 shows this year or whatever that looks like.
yeah, you got to do it because you love it. I think it's pretty obvious when a band doesn't do it because they truly love it.
Yeah, they have those ulterior motives. The music doesn't come out as authentic, you know?
Yeah, it can't. I think we're all, I think, just at a point in our lives where it's, well, I'm doing this because I love it. How do I walk away from it now? Or, um, I can't imagine just being like, this is not a thing I do. It's just
Right.
like been half my life at least that this is what I do. So it's just embedded in me, and it's what I want. In the end, I'm doing it because I'm lucky enough to get to make music with friends. So that's enough of a drive, I think.
Make music you enjoy with friends, I think, which is
Yes, yeah,
you know, we could all go out and start a cover band.
true. I don't want to.
Yeah, no shit. So what, like, in the time that you all have worked with Will in the studio, what are a couple of the things that he's like taught you all about the studio that you think other musicians should like keep in mind?
Whew, that's a tough question. Um,
I'm sure he's taught you guys a lot.
yeah, the first time we went in, it was so daunting. Um, but again, he's wonderful, and I think it was a little daunting too because he had just really produced a lot of different genre records than I think what we were doing. Um, it's very funny. A lot of the bands we've kind of talked about and referenced have gone to Will post us going to him. Um, Hopefully, we've played an impact on that. But he gets it, and that was great. But hopefully, I'm going to answer your question right. But he is pushed us in the studio, it's you go in and you have these songs, but try not to consider them such babies that they can't be changed. He doesn't pick up a guitar and say, try this and does a riff. He doesn't do anything like that, at least not with us. It's very, okay, well, you were on to something here. Why did you let up? You were getting weird. Why did you like kind of like steer away from that? Let's push on it. Or I remember we had like kind of this little interlude type bass driven soft song, and he was like, I mean, it was going to be like 40 seconds. And he's, well, why don't you just make it a song? What are you afraid of? So, like, when I see you in the morning, try to show me a song. And I think it's maybe the most we've learned is to not be too connected to the songs. You never know where they'll go. One of the reasons to go to a producer is for input. And I think his input has become very valuable to us, especially this record being our third record with an EP in the middle that we've worked with them. Like we've learned to be like, cool, like don't come in with nothing. Don't come in with like half songs, quarter songs, like bring him songs. But then like when he has input, let's hear what he has to say. And not every time is it right. I think we've pushed back at times that we feel confident, and maybe that's from years and years of doing it. But yeah, sometimes it's crazy to hear what a song became, knowing what it originally was. And I think if you're too hard headed, it can't get there. And it's always the better version in the end, because we kind of just got a fifth member kind of hopping in as we're like composing everything. So to me, that's maybe the most valuable part is if you're hiring a producer, it's because you want input. And so listen to that input and see where it can take you.
I never,
Hopefully I answered that question right
you
enough.
you absolutely, I think you absolutely did. It raises a really good question. I think I've never really thought of a producer as like a type of coach, but I feel like what you just said is that is exactly it, right? Like a good coach is gonna do what? They're gonna push you, and when you push back, that's when you know, okay, we're kind of where we should be, and the good song or bad song or whatever. If the band is pushing back on something, like if you're a football player, and you're out there running whatever 100 meters or whatever they do, I don't even know what they do. Um,
Don't either.
Bad. I should not talk sports at all.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
But you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's pushing you, and I think the song is where it's supposed to be when you all push back. Like, okay, that's this is where we need to be or where we want to be, and it's cool.
Yeah, and thankful to have his, faith in us that, the times we've put our foot down. Granted, I recognize it's also his job to be like, this is your album, do with it what you want. But I still feel like there would be times we put our foot down and be like, dude, you're wrong. Like, come on, and I think there's the nice middle ground we've definitely found in the years of working with him of like, no, this is happening. He's like, okay. And other times where he's like, change this part, or like that riff sucks. Let's make it better. Or like, let's scrap this whole thing. Like, let's make a whole new thing. And that's cool. And again, thankful that, other bands, they can all do what they want, but I appreciate that his isn't pick up a guitar, let me write a riff for you. It's let me see what you all got in you and let's like push those buttons. Let me be here, like you said, like a coach. Let me like
Yeah,
get out of you what I know you have in you.
that's cool, and I think that's really important for a producer too, because anyone can go in the studio, and I say anyone, but there are a lot of people who are essentially just like knob twisters. When if you've got someone that is really going to be, I think take that producer role and not just be an engineer. I think they should kind of push you and maybe open your mind to things that maybe didn't know a possibility, or maybe you were afraid to go over that like cliff to see what was there.
Absolutely. We've always came out better musicians, from the studio and always made bigger headaches for ourselves.
Yeah.
Trying to play these songs live or God, man, I wish he didn't push us there because this is a very hard song to play.
Yeah. What was I thinking? Damn it. Like,
Oh, every time we get home to try to like practice these songs, like, dude, good
that's
luck, everybody.
like, oh shit, I don't want to do this. No,
Yeah,
I get it though, but that's, that I think that's part of it. That also makes for a better live show because you get so focused on making sure that you can play what you actually put on the album. It's you play it to a point. I assume you play it to a point where it becomes like muscle memory to play, and then your stage show is like out of this world, and you're like, damn, I'm a better musician post tour because
100%. I'm looking forward to this tour for a couple of the new songs we're playing. Uh, to hopefully by the end be like, man, in the pocket now, because I know we're all going into it like we can play them. I feel good about it, but like that is the rest of the set is much more muscle memory than those songs that are new that we're throwing in, and looking forward to those being muscle memory. It's a good feeling to just walk on and not think too hard about what you're doing.
hell yeah, yeah. You guys are prepping right now because you leave what in like 8 days or something.
Yeah, we leave this weekend for a month and a half in Europe, and then we're home for like 10 days, and then it's our US headliner right after that. So basically getting ready for the rest of the year going.
Hell yeah. Who's going out with you on the headliner tour?
We have Fox Lake, kind of a new metal that kind of I wouldn't call it rap rock, but in that kind of world. Very cool band, very tight. I'm excited to see them live. And then a band called Commoner, kind of more in that grungy indie rock world. Good example would be Balance and Composure, who we're all big fans of. They kind of have that vibe, which um, we love. We also love. I've always tried to, from local shows back in the day up till now, I've always tried to do mixed bill genres, or mixed genre bills. Sorry. I think that's more interesting. And
Hell
I mean, we
yeah.
try to make our music slightly mixed genre. So we want to bring out kind of different vibe bands with us. So we're really excited to have both of them out with us and kind of doing a different thing.
That's what I like. I think music now, there's a lot more like mixed genre bills that I think uh, I would say are like tastefully done.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to go see a thrash band, I'm cool with having a noise band or even a punk band on it, but I don't want like EDM in there, like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can only go so far with it. Um, but I like pushing the limits on that. I mean, we all like completely different genres than what we play. Um, so that means the fans do too. I know, no one's just like, I only like metal. That's it. Nothing else clicks at all.
There are some people like that.
Okay,
Like,
that might be true. That might be true. We hope that there's enough of the other that, if you're coming to our show, you also like balance and composure, so you're probably gonna dig Commoner. There's a reason we wanted them to be on this too.
yeah,
So that's kind of I guess how we feel about it is we don't want it to be like five bands that are just right there on the nose doing the kind of a similar thing. Let's at least turn you on to a band that you weren't ready to see tonight.
yeah, I think that bill will be a really good bill. Um, I'm interested. I'm gonna check out Commoner because I don't know them. Uh, I'm I'm really interested to check them out.
Yeah.
So I'll do
Are you
that
familiar
tonight.
with Fox Lake then?
So yeah, they're one of the bands that I'm interviewing at LTL.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
I'll try and get them to do a little shout out for the tour too, and then I can do a couple of like, hey, here's Johnny talking about the tour, and here's the Fox Lake dudes talking about the tour, so we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell them I said hey through this. That's how we'll give a shout out like that.
Hell yeah, good stuff.
I might
So
have already yeah. Never mind. Go.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what artists for you really got you interested in playing music?
I know all of us have a different, answer to this. Um, Mine, I know Brent, I guess our vocalist would be similar. We're both huge System of a Down fans. Um, I again, love a lot of different genres and focus on those a lot more than I think metal. But I'll never forget being in middle school and being shown System of a Down, and that was like the first time of, oh, what is this? This is insane. I want to find out more. I want to be about it. So it made me like be like, I need to get an electric guitar. You know, I think Hypnotize was the first thing I ever learned on an electric guitar. I was trying to play that. So um yeah, that was just without a doubt the like game changer, like why I am playing music right now definitely attributes to System of a Down.
I feel like
Probably pretty similar to Brent as well.
I feel like System of a Down did that for a lot of people, like
Yeah.
because it was, even their radio hits were so different from everything else that was like out there, shit at that time. Maybe
Yeah, and it was so experimental, which I think, in a way we tried to still apply musically. Like I think me and Brent are the big system guys, so I think there's still a little bit where me and him are like, let's try to do some how do we get more experimental? Because you just hear just such like I mean, they do a lot of that super heavy to super soft, quick, back and forth. And that's always been implemented in our songs. Probably is the best reference, but multiple songs definitely has a moment even on vocals where me and Brent I think are both eyes are like that's a Surge thing where that's on purpose. Like
yeah.
I doubt I would be surprised if people pick up on it, but I know me and him know that's why.
That's all that matters, right? Like if
Yeah.
you can do, I feel like if a band can do a nod to someone that has inspired them without everyone going, that's a blatant ripoff. Like that
Yeah.
is it's a hard thing to do, but it's really fucking awesome when you can pull it off, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's in there. If no one knows, there's a lot of system at heart in this, at least from mine and his view of it.
That's cool though. It's nice to be able to mix shit in. So you listen to a lot of different stuff. What other artists do you think people should listen to that maybe they're not huge and out there?
Um, it's difficult. I'm gonna say local band for one. A couple of members were just in the music video we just shot, and I've just have so much love for this band. And they opened for us on our last headline show in Louisville is a band called White Woolly. They're just the coolest, chill, eerie vibe, kind of almost surf rocky at time band. Um, and I just think it's such a cool vibe. Not they definitely don't get near as much love as I think they deserve. But that's it. That's when I'm thinking of some Louisville stuff. Um,
That's cool. I just wrote it down because like I don't know them, so I want to fucking check them out.
awesome. Yeah. Hey, if they get one extra fan from this, I'll feel happy. They're the best. Um, yeah, I feel like I almost have to like pull up like what I've been listening to because it's a lot of indie rock. Um, for me is kind of what I've been jamming. I literally have the Haley Williams her new record on pretty nonstop right now. Has kind of been my go-to. So obviously she is very famous. So not turning anyone on to her, but
I don't even know who she is, honestly.
oh, vocalist of Paramore. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I know
Vo-
Paramore, but that's the extent. Like I don't know. I've probably listened to him, but I don't know that I really ever have.
gotcha. Amazing band, and her new solo record is brilliant. So um, I can't think of anything else right now because that record's been pretty much on repeat. That's where I've been living for the past few weeks.
No, that's totally cool. I feel like that's so different from what you guys do. So it's almost like a palate cleanser. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna find um, most of us listening to heavy music, I think, too often. I mean, we all love it, but I think everyone's kind of gotten their own thing thrown on. I love country. So, a lot of times if I'm driving in the van, everyone's hearing either some airy girl pop or country music typically. Which is nice because I'm usually driving at night and they all can pass out because it's just putting them all to sleep.
That's good shit. I would have never guessed you as a country guy, but what do I know?
Yeah, no, yeah. It's said I love all genres, so I'm
Who
kind of
was the who was that like first country artist that turned you on to country? Do you remember?
man, I don't think I have a solid answer for that because I didn't really grow up on it. I didn't have like the memory of like, my mom or dad playing Kenny Chesney or anything like that in the, car. Um and it wasn't pop country that really got me. I think it was all the more folk country. Like I just saw Sturgill Simpson at Bourbon and Beyond the other night,
Oh, gotcha.
I
Yeah.
love Sturgill. So um yeah, I don't think I have a direct this is the one. But I think, as I got a little older and had friends just playing stuff, I was like, man, this just like really clicks with me. Like all the bluegrass, folk. Because in my head, I think growing up, country was that pop radio country that drove me crazy as a kid. And then I found out that it's not. There's like a wonderful world of music out there.
Yeah, I think a
I don't
lot
think
of
I can
people
attribute
do the
to any.
same thing, right? Like they connect country with, a lot of the poppier like radio friendly stuff, which I would assume a lot of those folks probably do, or a lot of people do with heavier music too. They think, oh, it's this stuff that's all on the radio. And when you
Yeah.
really dig into it, you find some really, really cool artists, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's, yeah, every genre has that, and I think country got a bad rap because of that pop country. That's what people's heads went. And to me, it's not that at all. There's so much, beautiful music coming out from it. And luckily, being from Kentucky, kind of a lot of it coming. We're in the source, for a lot of the great material coming out. But yes, same with metal. People think this is all it is, and a lot of like my favorites weren't on the radio. People weren't hearing that, and you might actually like this. It's not
Yeah.
what you think it is. So
Yeah. It's, it's so funny. Before I lived in Louisville, I was in Nashville for a while, and there was so much, honestly, like just really good music overall. But you could go out to these rounds where it's just a bunch of songwriters, dude, and they come out and play some really kick-ass country, and you're like, damn, that's good. What is
yeah,
going on?
I mean, good music is good music. Like you don't. It doesn't have to be your thing to sometimes even recognize like that's great. Like I can't deny that that's fantastic.
That's the truth. So what has been, or let me rephrase this. Out of the shows you've been to, the shows you've played, what band has just absolutely blew your mind that maybe you didn't think they were going to do so good?
That I didn't think was going to do so good.
And
That's
I only threw that last part on there. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be, but maybe you went to the show and you're just like, damn, that was so much better than I anticipated.
um. I'll try to think of a couple just random things that come to mind. I saw Refused at Riot Fest years ago, and I already liked Refused. I didn't think they were going to put on a bad show, but that was I think all of us were like, God, this is incredible, like so good.
Was that like 2016?
Something like that. It would have been 16, 17, 18 in that era. It was again stoked to see them, but sometimes you see an iconic band, you're like, yeah, that was what it was. But I remember that set was just brilliant.
I had that like literally had the same experience with them. I'd never seen them. I know they'd been around a while, and we went to the show, and I was just like, holy shit, that was. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but man, that was such a good show. You know?
Yeah, like I think I saw literally Glassjaw right before, and it was great, but it wasn't like, oh my god,
Yeah.
great. So that comes to mind. And then just because I was just talking about Paramore is funny, I think I would say I saw them like a year and a half ago, and I think it was the best live band I have ever seen. Like in incredible live.
Wow.
Walked away from that show and was like, yeah, I think they're the greatest right now. So I have to make that notable because I don't think I've ever like walked away from a set being like, I don't think you get better than what that just was. Um,
That's pretty awesome, dude. Like, I think so often these larger bands get like shit on because they're larger bands, for whatever reason. But you come to find out that when you go see them, there's typically a reason why they're so big. Like
oh, 100%.
I I credit I credit my love for music or live music to Michael Jackson
Yeah,
because that was the very first concert I ever went to, and it was on the Thriller tour, and that I don't
that's crazy.
remember, that like the show itself, but I remember leaving there going, "Oh my God, I want to feel this forever."
Yeah, it's cool when that's what a show does to you.
Yeah.
That's a very cool one to have under your belt.
Yeah, well, I'm not even going to make the joke because I was a little boy. So,
It's there. The
yeah,
joke's in the air now.
joke's there. Make it yourself. So, if while you're on the road, if you ever get a chance, one of my most recent favorite live shows is a like a post-rock band out of Australia called We Lost the Sea.
Okay.
They played, I was in Indianapolis in July for Post Fest, and they played two sets. I think they played one on Thursday, one on Saturday. And the one on Thursday was mind blowing. The one on Saturday, I'm sorry to the two bands that closed out after them, but it was so good. I literally was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm leaving.
You said we lost the sea.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check. I've never heard of them, so I'll just have to check them out in general.
Yeah. They're, God, their fucking live show is just like mind boggling good. Like no vocals, it's all instrumental, but great, great band.
And again, I guess going all the way back to just touring with bands, doing it real. It's wanting to do that. I think is the end goal is to blow people away so bad. That they're just like in shock from it. It's just I can't believe that just happened live.
Yep.
Uh, I think that's always the goal. So it's again it's cool to hear people be that affected by a live performance. That's why you're going to see it again. Otherwise, why not just put the record on?
Yep. Yeah. You've got to be there. There has to be something magical about a live show. And I don't know if you feel the same way. I kind of hope that, honestly, I hope that every musician feels this way. But I think for me, when I go to a live show, I feel a part of something that is unifying and not dividing, like,
Yes, I have definitely felt the divide in the past. I have seen a different version of that, and it's always turned me away pretty hard because that's not how I ever thought it was supposed to feel. And starting off playing shows and going to them, the unifying aspect was what I thought music was supposed to do for people, and that was what I loved about it was seeing a show, and I've still had it. Man, I'm again different genre. There's a band called the Wonder Years,
yep.
kind of pop punk adjacent rock. And they did a show in Chicago last year. Me and a buddy went to, and I'm just dead in the middle of the crowd, jumping up and down. And you're before you know it, someone armed that you don't know is around you, and you're just screaming the words at each other. And like, I'm like, oh my God, like you feel at one with the crowd. No one's there to like worry about anything else but the songs and to like put their arm around you and sing along. And like that just elevated the experience so much. Um, and that set will always like live for me in memory of just like everywhere I turned, everyone was having a blast and we were all there together. And like that is what a concert should be about, truly is that unifying feeling. Like we're all there because we love it. We're there because we love music. And I want to share it with my friends if I can. And if not my friends, I want to share it with the strangers around me. Sometimes you make friends out of that, especially all the DIY shows back in the day, lifelong friends from those things,
Oh
band
yeah,
members from those things. So that's what it should always be about. It's really cool when it does happen.
100% agree. That was, I mentioned Post Fest. Post Fest was it was my first year going. I feel like it was their fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth year, something like that. The community that they built, it was that. Like you got to experience music the way you wanted to. If you wanted to like sing with the band as strong as the band, people would let you. There was no one that was ever like, this is my spot. If there was someone short behind you, they got out of the way so that shorter person could get up and actually see the band. Like it was
Yeah.
just they've done such a great job like cultivating that community, that experience, man. If I could see every live show like that, it would be like the world would be such a better fucking place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah, God, no, I'm gonna go cry a little bit because it was so good. Uh Now people were dancing, like, some of the bands, some of the people were crying because it was just the music was so good. So it was, man, it's such a great fucking thing.
That's wonderful.
Damn. Okay, Johnny, I don't want to keep you all night, dude, but I am super grateful that you allowed me almost an hour this evening before you guys go out on tour, to chat.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for chatting. And honestly, it was a great time. I'm glad we got to talk about all this and keep Louisville a part of it all too, because that's important to us. So
Very much so. I think we've got some great fucking bands here. Obviously, without Greyhaven and Knocked Loose, I think what what you guys are doing is really helping shine a light on the smaller bands here in Louisville, which is so fucking needed.
hell yeah.
Awesome. Dude, be safe on the road and hopefully I see you out at a show soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
Cool. See ya.
Take care.